Greece and India are separated by nearly 3,000 miles of rough mountains, vast deserts, and open sea. For millennia, they developed distinct languages and entirely different cultures. But reading their foundational texts side by side reveals patterns that resemble intellectual property theft. These are highly specific structural copies shared between the two mythologies. We have to ask, are these massive historical coincidences, or did someone copy someone else's homework? The inciting incidents of their greatest epics, the Iliad and the Ramayana, follow a set path. A beautiful princess, Helen in Greece, Sita in India, is abducted by a foreign king and taken across the sea to a fortified island. The husband teams up with his brother to launch a counterattack. They cross the water, lay siege to the city, and rely on a local betrayal and a trick to finally breach the enemy walls. In both stories, the glorious, prosperous enemy city, Troy and Lanka, is burned to the ground. The character archetypes are also reflections of one another. Look at the tragic heroes of these wars, Achilles and Karna. Achilles is a demigod wearing impenetrable armor. His mother warned him against war, and he dies because of a highly specific physical flaw, his heel. Karna is also a demigod in impenetrable armor. Abandoned and warned against fighting, he dies from a specific battlefield curse involving a stuck chariot wheel. These shared plot structures indicate a connection that exists within the architectural core of their history. The mapping between these worlds continues up the cosmic ladder to the gods themselves. We find Athena and Saraswati, both goddesses of wisdom and the arts, Hermes and Narada, the winged trickster messengers, Aphrodite and Lakshmi, goddesses of beauty who emerge from the sea. Then there are the kings of the gods, Zeus and Indra. Both rule from high mountain peaks, Mount Olympus and Mount Meru. In combat, both hurl thunderbolts as their primary weapons, and both famously battled giant multi-headed serpents. They share specific moral flaws. Both are unfaithful husbands who shapeshift into the forms of mortal men to seduce those men's wives. These pantheons are essentially identical character Bibles operating under different localized names. Did Greek merchants trade these stories to Indian travelers, or vice versa? The evidence points to a different answer. Neither group copied the other. They are the exact same stories. Roughly 6,000 years ago, a single ancestral group known as the Proto-Indo-Europeans lived together on the steppes of Central Eurasia. As resources depleted on the steppe, this unified culture was forced to split apart and migrate in opposite directions. One branch moved westward, out of the steppe and into Europe. Over millennia, their descendants became the Greeks, the Celts, and the Norse. Another branch moved eastward, traveling down toward the Indian subcontinent, where they eventually composed the Vedas. These migrating groups carried little physical luggage, but they carried their oral traditions, ensuring that both distant regions inherited the exact same mythological DNA. The proof of this migration is preserved in the language itself. When we map out this linguistic family tree, we can trace the name of the original Central Eurasian sky god from 6 millennia ago, Zeus Pita. As the western branch migrated and their language mutated over thousands of years, Zeus Pita gradually shifted in pronunciation until it became the Greek Zeus Pater. Given more time and distance, that same name eventually became the Roman Jupiter. As these populations settled into different environments, they adapted the shedded stories to fit their new local climates, swapping out specific regional flora and fauna while keeping the narrative structure intact. The Greek and Hindu gods are the regional localizations of the same ancient Central Eurasian culture.